Greetings, Starborn and Star Seekers. I am Standswithbear.
And I'm Lightstar.
Really glad to be with you once again. I know it's been a while since we've done some videos, been doing a lot of things out there, getting some things rolling. And we're really excited to be here right now because we've got some awesome stuff to share with you.
Yeah, we have a few things that we want to talk about today. And we also want to answer some questions that we've had on our last few YouTube videos. We sort of dug through the ones that we didn't answer, and we had some come in as well from emails. So we wanted to answer your questions. So we're going to talk about that, and we kind of just want to dive into that, but we're also going to share some other things that are upcoming on our new ventures.
Yes, indeed.
So we'll talk about that in a bit. But I guess we should just dive in, right?
Head first.
So let's this is one of the questions that came from one of the last videos, and I'll just read the question. We're just going to say the question and not so much the person's name, just to keep the privacy a little bit there, even though their names are on there. But
the names have been changed
to protect the innocent. So this question is, can you please tell me, if you become awakened here in this 3D lifetime, is it possible to lose that awareness when you die? And for instance, if you reincarnate again, is it possible to lose that awareness and not remember who you are? Thus maybe not becoming awakened and being in the dark again in the popsicle suit. Thank you so much.
That is an awesome question.
Yes.
On my take, what I would say with that is, obviously many of you believe in reincarnation, which, by the way, does exist. And from what I have been told by many masters I've worked with, teachers, guides, elders, that my dear friend Mylene, Tibetan master, once told me that even when we cross over, it's always a state of learning, a constant state of growing. And from what I understand, when we depart as a soul and we're given our new reincarnation, they go through our evaluation, and then we see, what work we're supposed to do here. Each one of us has our own job here. And literally who we were is erased, because you have loved ones and those that you care about, and family, and wives, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, whoever it may be. When you cross over, there's a very great sense of loss, because you don't see all those individuals that you've been with your whole life. Just like those people that have been married for 75 years, and then one day they're gone. And it's very difficult for them to deal with what's going on here. So I feel what happens is the memory of who you were is erased, and the knowledge of that. So it's easier for you to make the transition into the next reincarnation. That is part, I believe, of the ascension process as well. Each one of you have like your own little spiritual backpack that the Creator gave you, but the dichotomy of it is, when you come here with that spiritual backpack, you can't open it until you're ready. We shall serve no wine before it's time. So knowing this, as you're moving forward in this incarnation, the new incarnation, as you raise your vibration, you've already planned out and mapped out certain individuals, certain key elements that will come into your life and help you remember. There's 4 stages to what I consider the ascension, okay? The first stage is awakening. Awakening to a whole new reality, looking in the mirror and saying, hey, that's not who I am, right? The second stage is remembrance. You begin to remember past life situations, scenarios, events that you've been a part of, people that have been in your own circle, like, wow, I know you. And they're like, yeah, I know you too, but we just met. Okay, how many times have you seen that? And the third is the quickening. Now the quickening is your insatiable thirst for knowledge. You're just like taking it all in, and that's all part of the process. And the final is rebirth. Rebirth allows you to not only in this incarnation understand who you are and why you're here, but also remember other past lives that assist you in that journey, assist you in what mistakes you may have made, or things of that nature. It actually assists you in growing into the incarnation that you're in now. So that would be my take on it.
Yeah, he's right in that, absolutely. What I would add to that is that I feel that people that, like, say someone that has become fully awakened in one lifetime, like, all of a sudden I have full awakening, full knowledge, and, I'm a little Buddha or a little whatever, walking around on the planet now. So, because I have attained that level, now what happens when I cross over? Do I go somewhere else? Do I come back and do another lifetime here? I feel that is where you have a choice with your guides, with the masters, with your angels, with your spirit guides, and that is, at that level, you will then be given the choice based on probably a lot of things, looking back over the lifetime and everything and all your lifetimes as a collective. And then you choose. You might want to come back as a guide for someone else here. You might want to come back here and teach and continue your process. But I feel that if you were to choose to come back, into this lifetime, like in another incarnation, instead of going on to become like a spirit guide or going somewhere else, if you chose to come back here, you wouldn't like be born and then all of a sudden have full awakened knowledge at birth. Yep. Or year one or whatever. And actually there are some exclusions to that, because there may be some cases where an awakened enlightened being needs to come here for that purpose, but that would have been,
have a question
that would have been chosen.
Yeah, we actually have a question that somebody has sent in as well, so we can touch base on that, about the new ones coming in.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that, because that's another question, for sure. So that might be something that someone chooses to do, but it is a matter of choice. Now, it's not like we just go, well, I want to do whatever I want to do, but you might want to go on as a spirit guide. You might actually have accelerated to the extent of becoming an ascended master. And then what does the ascended master do? They even have a choice whether they want to come back and do an incarnation again, or whether they want to continue on. They can continue on in other dimensions, other planets, other universes, other spaces. So there's many different decisions. So I believe that it's not just one individual, like once you're awakened, then you're done. And, you can come back into the next lifetime and you're awakened immediately because you were awakened in that other lifetime. Yep. It doesn't work that way. I also feel that if you became that and you wanted to come back into this life or into incarnation, you may choose completely different lessons. You may have been ascended and, or created that enlightenment phase, but there may be some things you want to experience back in this realm or in another realm, and it may be a completely different lesson. So
you may have to do a do-over too.
You may have to do a do-over
because you didn't get it this
at
way.
That first point. If you're enlightened, you would think that it's all perfection and all done, but there's so many levels to that what we understand as enlightenment is just only a fraction of what really there is to be enlightened and awakened and ascend. So, we can't even tell you exactly, because we're still here working on it just like you guys are. We're all still working on ourselves, and the attainment, the levels of attainment, sure, you do attain those and move on, but it is your choice of how you want to move on in these other realms and dimensions. So
yes, indeed.
So yay! So thank you for that question. That was awesome. Really, really great question. It was like question. Very, when you say multi-dimensional question in itself. So that was really fun. Very so good. Let's go on to the next one.
What about the one that the gentleman had written in about, I can't even think of it. The one
that. I remember.
That's the one, right.
I know what he's talking about, because, it's the psychic thing.
It helps when she can do that, too, seriously, because when you get older, you get that sometimers thing. And
the Starseed?
Yeah, forget why you went in the room to begin with, that kind of thing. The one that was talking about
Starseed.
Starseed and also individuals. His question that he wanted to know was, can you tell me somebody who is Starseed and if they've completed their mission here? And what I would say to
that was there was a self-realized person, like somebody they knew.
That's it.
Who they were a Starseed. and then have completed their mission. The question we read initially, we were reading it as though a starseed that has actually completed their mission, but didn't realize they were actually asking about, well, somebody that actually knew they were a starseed and being self-acclaimed to be a starseed.
Exactly.
So the ones I mentioned may not have been, but that's why we wanted to bring it up again. So
yeah, we want to bring that up because there's a lot of factors to that. Okay, all those that came before, the ones that forged a new world, the ones who were the movers and shakers, the ones who literally thought outside of the box, generally were starseed. You have people here that are starseed that they're not claiming they're starseed, but of course they are, like Shirley MacLaine for one thing. It's been rumored that Tesla was actually a starseed.
yeah, those are the ones that I feel were starseed, but
Absolutely.
may or may not have a claim to be a starseed. But look at what Shirley MacLaine opened up the whole spiritual awakening for people for it, so
Exactly.
it comes out of the closet.
Exactly.
And Nikola
Yeah.
Tesla brings all this technology, from other dimensions, really, to our planet here. So these are people that may or may not have been self-acclaimed.
And there,
And
and
and another thing.
there as well, he had mentioned any that have already completed their mission. So yes, there is. Like I just said, all those that forged a path so we could be here today and speak openly about this. Because I'll tell you, my friend, there was a time when speaking about this in public or any of these non-linear or non-3D things, you were considered a heretic or you were considered evil or whatever label they wanted to put it upon. They had to do it in secrecy, had to do it in hiding, like your alchemists and individuals like that. They had to do these things in secrecy, but yet they were bringing something to the planet that had not been brought forth. Like Tesla, they're still trying to figure out the things that he was doing with all the mechanisms that he had. Einstein,
How did it work, and where did it come from?
exactly.
Really?
And did you know that Einstein, some of his powerful theories that he had to this day, modern day computers still can't figure out. This guy was not from here. I don't care what anybody says. But seriously, the individuals that have forged a path and made their way and changed the whole of the world, those are the Starseed.
And what about the writer of Star Trek?
Oh, absolutely.
You don't think he was a starseed and proclaimed that? Because look at where he's getting his information from.
Yes. I actually have a very dear friend of mine whose niece was the creator of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. It was his niece. And she asked him one time, she said, "Uncle, how is it that you get these amazing stories?" And he told her that when he slept at night, that these amazing stories would come to him and he would write them down in his journal the next day, and that became the new episode. So literally it was being channeled to him in his dream time and giving him the chronological history of what's going on out there and what's been going on out there. But in our 3D mind, we're like, oh, that's a cool science fiction, whatever. No. Reality, okay, happened. Why do you think it affected so many people? Look at how many geoengineers and avionic constructors and rocket scientists all came from watching Star Trek. It affected them so greatly that it changed their entire scope of their life and their journey and their path and what they're doing. And that, my friend, is the key element of what is known as Starseed.
And look at the industries, music, art, writers, script writers, movie, film, all these different creative avenues, as well as in the science.
Yep.
If the ones that are actually bringing that new technologies, whether they know it or not, they are Starseed, because that is what they're bringing, the new ways and bringing the new things forward.
Look at the new Tesla car. Enough said.
Yeah, I mean, and there's so many in Hollywood. I mean, so many actors and actresses that we see on this movie screen. And I don't know any of them personally, so I can't really say, oh yeah, I'm going to say that person's starseed. I can tell, but I'm not going to, say that here because that's, for them to be claiming for themselves or not.
Right.
But there's so many of them in Hollywood. It's actually funny. Just look at them. You can actually see their, starseed selves.
You know what cracks me up is Starseed that do a movie portraying Starseed. That is so funny to me. I have to laugh at it because those that are Starseed know that they're Starseed, but they're actually portraying Starseed.
I know, like the ones
they're playing themselves,
like Men in Black, or stuff like
so
that.
funny.
All the superhero movies that we watch too. A lot of the gravitational the actors that you see and actresses that are in the same ones. They keep coming back to playing those kinds of roles. Why do you think that is? Yes, they are good at it, but why do you think that is?
And how many of you try that? I know I did, man. I remember being like, God, I was 10 or 11 years old, and I had my little characters of all my Marvel characters, and I would sit there for hours staring at it going, knowing that I could move it, and and it didn't work out so well. But that's a remembrance that we have. Going back to what I said before, there's remembrances that we have of when we weren't in this place, and we actually have those abilities and those amazing things that we can do. And many of us, outside of this self, this little shell that we have, can actually do that. We can experience that. We have that outside of the body in the astral. For those of you that know, Okay, so.
So thank you for that Starseed question. That raises a lot.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
just last note, we all are Starseeds, and we all are on our missions. So, and a lot of you that are watching this, okay, so there's just, proof in the pudding. You guys are all Starseeds too. You may not have ended your life here yet. You're still on the path and you're still creating your mission. So, but you are all doing it too. So you're proof of the pudding. We all are. And thank you for, honoring this planet with
Yes.
your gift and doing what you're supposed to be doing here. Even if it's difficult and it's hard for you to do it here, it's important for you to express what it is that you're here to do, okay? Even if it has to be on the side or wherever until you get to that point. But don't give up doing it.
We are so honored that you're here, and especially honored for those that, there's no saying, the misfits, the ones that they call crazy, the ones that are impossibilities, all those things, the ones that say they're going to change the world and everybody calls them crazy, well, they're ones that usually end up doing exactly what they said they're going to do.
That's a great question, because we have a question. Speaking of crazy, that lead in right to our next question.
That was totally not intended.
Yeah, that was not intended, but really, okay, so this is a question that is, I'm going to read this and we'll talk about it. This is interesting. I'm glad I met you guys. I was meant to, what can you say about neurotypicals when trying to push these ideas as becoming part of schizophrenia, living out of this reality, being a danger for society, and that you may need pills to regulate serotonin levels and reintegrate into society? So, that's a heavy question.
That's a very heavy question.
So, first of all, before we say anything, because we have to say this, that, we're not...
Disclaimer note.
We're not...
Disclaimer note, okay? Just alert, disclaimer note. All right.
We are not physicians. We are not psychiatrists. So, obviously, we cannot diagnose people and any of that. We're not saying that we're diagnosing people with whether they're schizophrenic or not schizophrenic, okay? We just have to say that, because obviously you guys know that. So having said that, okay, I would recommend people do, consult with physicians when they need to, but I would recommend that they choose a physician or a psychiatrist who is a bit more on the naturopathic side of things, or at least have holistically minded, so they can try to help you to, whether you wanting to wean off your medication or whatever, work with the people that can help you to do that more naturally and at your own pace, because that is a definite, and we've seen it with people that can do that, in some ways. So work with somebody who's more natural and holistic minded is all we're saying with the psychiatrists that are out there, okay?
Right.
And know that also this is a multidimensional question as well. And we are all multidimensional beings. And so some of these different things that people might think are schizophrenic,
You just took it right out of my head.
there you go, are not really schizophrenic. They're your other aspects of you, other dimensional places that are actually speaking with you. Could be spirit guides, could be your own higher self. There's so many different beings, as well as us being in these altered states and these different dimensions that cross over, and they're crossing over even more today than they ever were. And so we are seeing that people are getting diagnosed, from things that are not necessarily what they really are. And so that's my take on it. I just say always work with somebody, work with your physician, but work with someone holistically, and someone that can help you with that a bit more.
And I would have to agree with Lightstar on that. By no means are we doctors or even claim to be. Well, not in this life.
I'm a naturopath, but I don't have the actual
Right.
degree. So I do have degrees in this, but I'm not a licensed psychiatrist.
I
So.
played doctor when I was a little kid. I don't know if that counts. Anyway, all right.
We play
so-
doctor sometimes. Okay.
That's another
Right.
video. Anyway, so seriously, I have to concur with what Lightstar said. By no means we aren't doctors or anything like that, but schizophrenia, first of all, I just want to point out that every word you've heard in the medical industry, we made up. Okay? There was no freaking word for that. Somebody else made it up and put a label to it. And I've always been one to believe that when you put a label on something, it breathes life into it. And when you have a collective consciousness that buys into that label, again, it breathes life into it. That's been proven scientifically at Harvard, actually, that consciousness can change the physical reality. And mass consciousness can change it even more rapidly. They actually did an experiment where they had a machine that dripped a drip of water, one at a time, in synchronization. It's a machine. There's no way that it could have screwed up, right? They had a room full of people focus their energy on the drip, and pretty soon they begin to alter the flow of the drip. The most fascinating thing they've ever seen, because our thoughts create and change the reality, right? So my point being with that is you are multidimensional, and you have many different things that are rolling inside of you. And let's face it, when you are just waking up into that being a starseed and realizing that you're not exactly normal like everybody else, it's very difficult when you're growing up as well, because it's like everything around you is in slow motion. You don't like going to school, it bores you to tears. Half the time you're more intelligent than half the teachers there. I used to drive my history teacher crazy. I'd be like, that's not what happened. But it's in the book. But that's not what happened. It's like these knowingness you have inside of you, and the sad thing is there's not anybody out there that you can point that out to and go, hey, I need to talk about this. And again, what I was going to say earlier, thank you, Starseed, that are actually forging the way and having guts enough to come out on YouTube videos or in public or anything and speak of these things. Because for a long time it was taboo. And now no more. Now we're coming into a foldment. Now we're awakening. And that's why we're here. Okay, so as far as the question with the schizophrenia, I want you to go deeper within yourself, and I want you to find that place of peace within yourself. Instead of hearing the chatter out here, oh, you're crazy, you're this, you're that, you're that, you're that. Go within the silence. Find the higher self of who you are. Speak that truth and wisdom within yourself. Calm, quiet.
And do whatever you can to get to that place of peace and quiet. If it means, more exercise, or if it means eating healthier, or if it means meditating more and just, quieting. But you have to watch, obviously, with schizophrenia, if you're hearing voices that are telling you to go, kill people and do damaging things to yourself or harmful
Those
things
aren't
to
the ones
others.
you want to listen to.
definitely not a good thing. Okay, those type of voices are obviously of the negative, of the dark, and they could be entities, it could be demons, they could be all sorts of, the psyche and everything. So, and these are the things where you have to watch out for that and work with somebody. Okay, don't try to do it yourself. This is where you have to reach out to those people, those holistic psychiatrists and people that can help you.
Yep.
Okay, just not medicate you and drug you up, but actually people that could help you to reintegrate into society, like this gentleman was asking. So we want to honor you for that question. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think that the other question that came in that was coming in from an email was about starseeds, but it was actually a question about how do you know the difference between these different terms that we hear about starseeds, indigos, crystalline, rainbows, all these terms, and what does that mean, and who are they, and what's the differences and all of that. So this came out as very timely. Because we were just asked to provide some content for a beautiful soul, Lori Hines, who is going to be writing. She's an author and she's written several books already, and she's writing a new book, and she asked us to provide some information about the starseeds, and that's going to be coming out. So thank you. It's going to be coming out in her next book. I'm not sure when that'll be out, but anyways, so we were asked to write this information, and so we want to just give you, we're going to be using this information in our material as well, but we don't want to spend that. This is a whole video in itself, right? So what I think we could do is just briefly give some of the characteristics of these different ones. I have received some information on two of them, which the latter two, which really are maybe ones that no one has heard of or don't know much about. And I received this, we channeled this information in, and so we're going to share a little bit of that as well. So let's start off with, I guess, the indigos, right?
Oh, my people. My
Indigo.
people. Indigo, baby. This is actually something that's very near and dear to my heart because obviously I am indigo. By the way, big shout out to Jimmy and my brother Ryan, who are also a couple indigos. And let me explain to you about indigos. A lot of people, they think that they are, angry or violent or whatever. They're very charismatic. It's not that we're that at all. We're just simply, the way indigo are is we are the warrior tribe. And the indigo came here to forge a path for those that would be coming afterwards. So the crystalline and the rainbow can have an easier path. We're the ones that shed light where the darkness resides. We're the ones that we root out corruption at all levels. You would know them through history, through all the knights that you hear all the great stories and lore about, through the people that were the ones that forged ahead and busted through the old paradigm. The ones that created entirely new paths or systems or inventions that were never there before. All the ones that were continuously questioned about their methods and their idealisms. Okay, let's face it, they thought Alexander Graham Bell was crazy. They thought that Thomas Edison was crazy. They had no concept of these things. But as an indigo, you don't listen to the outside world and what it's saying. You listen to the inside world of who you are and the truth of who you are and why you're here. And the indigo itself is completely that of what I'm Cherokee. Okay, and Cherokee's path is we don't follow others' paths. We bore a path for others to follow. So in knowing this, this is very similar to what the indigo does. There's a lot of famous indigos out there, a lot of famous people that you've seen that are indigos that are movers and shakers and literally broke the mold. There you go, broke the mold of what is the so-called norm. We forge ahead and we create what has yet been created. But like my brother Ryan says from Team Light, we also are kind of like that guard that busts through everything, just like that, so that there's an easier path and cleared away all the debris. So the beautiful little crystalline and the rainbows and the diamonds and the platinums and the amazing children that have even yet to come have an easier path. Okay, so that's what I would explain about my brother and sisters, the Indigo.
And the Indigos are warriors. They're the ones that came from the very first moment in history of great upheaval on our planet here. A lot of them have been Indigos. Their mission is really to go where there is corruption, go where there is manipulation and control, and uncover it and bring it to the surface so that people can be exposed for these lower vibrational energies. They're here to bring that purity. So they're really all about truth and justice in the American way. But they really are in a lot of these realms in politics and in, government and places where they're lobbying and protesting even, because that's really part of their mission, is to do that.
Speaking of which, that guy Trey Gowdy, the one that's doing all the Benghazi thing and just really taking on Congress like David versus Goliath, that guy is definitely an Indigo. And those kind of people are the ones that I spoke of earlier, and the ones she's talking about, the true warriors that aren't afraid to forge where others don't. So
yeah, they're really beautiful souls, all about truth. And so they come here for that purpose and for that reason. So they really get their hands dirty, so to speak. So they actually pave that way for the next beautiful souls. Now the Indigos, I believe, are not really incarnating as much as they were. They came in big droves and really shook up the planet and brought up that all of these different exposure levels in different ways. And so now I want to say their job is done, but a lot of their job has been to do that exposure and to bring it to the surface. So they kind of paved that way. Now, some of the other children have been coming in at the same time, and we're not going to go too much into the time frames of who's, Indigo and Crystalline and what, years they were born in, because honestly, it's a little bit, that's debatable, okay? What we do know, what we've been given, is that we know that these children are coming in, and they're coming in waves, and they usually start with the Indigos, and then it goes into the Crystalline, and then the Rainbows, and then what I call diamonds and the platinum. So we'll talk about that. But that's the general flow of when they're coming in. So that's the Indigos.
that's the Indigos.
So
Now the awesome sauce.
now
Her people.
let's talk about the crystallines. Well, they're, I have a little bit of all of it. I'm sort of a mutt when it comes to all of this. I have a lot of traits of all these different types of...
A galactic Molotov
Yeah.
cocktail.
kind of interesting. But crystalline is near and dear to my heart because the crystallines are really here and have come here to spread the love, divine love, and the peace and compassion that is very needed. Now the Indigos come and they shake everything up and stir everything up, and everything's flying around in the air because nobody, we know it's like now it's all airborne, really.
And they smooth everything
And
out.
then now we have to come in with the crystalline energy to kind of help to clear the air, to bring things back into harmony and to balance. Okay, the crystallines are very, 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 did I say very, sensitive.
Yes.
Their energies are,
Yes,
its frequencies are very gentle, okay? They're like the deer, very gentle souls. They tend to take on a lot of other people's stuff, so they tend to be intuitive empaths that tend to take on too much of other people's energies and have to do a lot of releasing because they're really here as a sponge, and they absorb a lot of all the negative stuff that other people carry. The crystallines are really the sort of sponge and absorption method for that. And so they're beautiful, beautiful souls. They're often found in healing modalities and intuitive. They work a lot with animals, crystals, the earth. Indigos work a lot with the earth as well. They're very, do a lot of gridula work.
Kristen do a lot of
like that.
humanitarian stuff.
And
too.
very humanitarian.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, gentle souls, and they're much needed in the chaos and the confusion, provided they don't get swept up too much in that chaos and confusion with their own sensitive chemistry. So crystallines do very well with cleaning their bodies a lot and doing a lot of meditation, eating very well and very pure foods, being around crystals, being around energies that are high vibrational and of light frequencies. These things regenerate them. The sun regenerates them. The nature regenerates them, and so they have this gentle system coming through.
And they're very good at keeping indigos in check. I know. I'm with
well,
one.
they definitely have that ability to actually bring things back into that sort of less scattered, when things, because indigos don't mind that energy. They sort of live in that sort of high, like a type A personality almost, where it's just like they live in that.
Really?
But the crystallines, they actually prefer to kind of be back in the I don't want to say not so much in the limelight. They don't have that need. They really have the need for the more calm energies and the more quiet serenity and tranquility of home.
Right.
So that's just their nature.
Indigos definitely didn't come here for kumbaya.
Yeah, so it's a different, there's a balance there, and obviously we're not going to put every single crystalline is like that and every single indigo is like this. We're just saying general traits of these beings that are coming in and what energies they're bringing to the earth and why they're bringing it. So that's the crystallines, unless there's anything you want to add.
It's really an incredible tactic that the Galactics and the Creator put upon this planet, as far as it's like building a foundation into a beautiful architectural masterpiece. Because first you start with the indigos, and the indigos came through and they busted through and cleared out the path for the new foundation, right? Then the crystalline come in and they help to rebuild that foundation. And then you have the which we're going to talk about here in a second, the rainbow children, which is a very powerful little tribe themselves. Crystalline are really passive, they're very beautiful beings. They don't like discord whatsoever, which sometimes indigos drive them crazy. I know. Because we can be that. But the crystalline are all about love, compassion, beauty, and the energy of that. I've said this to many clients. The crystalline are about bringing that complete love into the planet, and the awareness of that love into the planet, the awareness of the divine connection, of your divine connection individually into the planet. So not only are they doing it on a conscious or a mass consciousness level, but they're also doing it individually. I mean, how many times you've been like in a situation, a restaurant or something like that, and that one person walks in and you're just like, oh. And it's not even about the beauty of that person. It could be man or woman or whomever, but something about them is just like you're in a daze as they're walking by, because they exude that. They can deal with the elementals much easier because they know how to pull back that energetic field, pull back that auric field within themselves, as not to frighten the other elements away. Whereas us indigos sometimes just we're burning through the forest and they say, yikes, right? So, but the crystalline, they're amazing, beautiful beings, and thank you all for what you do here.
And it's kind of a challenge being here and being a crystalline, because this energy of the earth is very chaotic and it's very confusing and it's very disrupting to our energies. So that's why it's so important to learn how to cleanse your energy field and your physical body that needs the regeneration much more typically than the indigos per se. Yep. So we have to do a lot to make up for this place. In other words, we came from a place of not knowing this sort of this, I don't want to say dense place.
Vibration.
This vibration, very dense, is very limiting in some ways, where we feel like we're very limited. And so that crystal energy is like angelic energy, is straight from pure source, straight from God. Really, it's just that pure energy. And that's why when he was saying you walk into a room and people just feel like, it's usually the sense of peace. And if they were all like spazzed out from something, they usually just get this really calm, serene feeling from being in the presence of crystallines who are managing their own energy well. Let me put that that caveat in there.
Yep.
If their crystallines can get very chaotic and scattered because they're not in balance, but they do come in to balance the masculine and the feminine. So they're really here to kind of balance those energies and to help other people balance them too. So that's the beautiful crystallines. So I guess we should move on and talk about
Rainbows.
Rainbow. Beautiful rainbow, which is so amazing. The rainbow is just the word rainbow just gives you the impression of what the rainbows are actually about. So
multicolored, right? That all works in harmony together in one beautiful bridge. And if you look back, the elders, native elders, used to say that one day the rainbow tribe would return to the earth when it comes into its worst time of strife. And they would literally herald in an entire new age. Well, that time is now. And what the rainbow do is something really amazing, because in the Creator's wisdom and the Galactic's wisdom that brought this whole thing about, they knew that those that came before would kind of have a hard time balancing things out with each other. And they're very good at that. They can go into a mediatorship role like that. They're usually the ones that are in the middle of a fight going, whoa, 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 hey, we're not doing that today. That's not happening. And they calm down and diffuse a very out of control situation like that. And they're also about the earth. Probably some of the closest beings to the earth that I've ever seen. They literally live on the earth. They'll be on the earth. They're more comfortable being in a tent in the woods somewhere than in a penthouse in New York City. See what I'm saying? So they're usually very homeopathic. They're very naturalistic. And their job, their main focus, is to bridge that of the secular 3D world, what we have here, into that of spiritual, into that and understanding that divine connection. They are the bridge. They are the rainbow bridge. And as the elders spoke long ago, native way, the rainbow represents many different mixed bloods. And look what's happened now. You have all these amazing mixed bloods that are happening throughout society. And those people, because they have so many different things within them, they learn from all of that DNA and all that knowledge of the ancestral knowledge deep within them. And they brought that heart space with them. So in a sense, they're almost like indigo, crystalline, and whatever comes after rolled into one. They're pretty amazing, and I have a lot of respect for the rainbow children, because I believe that they are the ones that are going to bridge us into a new world to help find our path back home. So thank you guys.
yeah, I liken the rainbow to the rainbows to like the flower children of the 60s.
Oh yeah.
But yet the flower children of the 60s don't have one thing that the rainbows do, and that is like grounded strength.
Yep.
They are very strong, but they are that super flowery kind of love, all about love and light, but they bring it in a very grounded way. And so they have a bit of, I want to say, some of the traits of actually some of the previous. It's like a progression. And so each wave of these children, you know, that come through have more and more to add to the table. Not to take away from any of the previous ones, but they do progress. And so the rainbows are these beautiful rainbows that really come here, and they're very strong, and they can handle a lot. Not a lot gets by them, but they definitely can be in these really bad situations and be very strong and very enduring in those situations as well. And they are doing great things, for the planet right now. And they are in full force, at the moment. They're still coming through. but there's a lot more of them that are not a lot more that are here, but there's a lot more coming through as well. And they're sort of in every walks of life right now. So I see them sort of, say globally, everywhere. They're all over the place. So,
do you know who I think is a rainbow child? I truly think that Matthew McConaughey, total rainbow child. I swear, the guy, because he's very, and Woody Harrelson, definitely.
So if you guys are watching this,
Yeah.
let us know. Do you think you're a rainbow? Do you even know what that is? Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, so the rainbows are just fabulous, and we love them, and so excited that you guys are all here doing your missions and your jobs to really take us to the next level.
Yep.
And really, the next two levels are some people may not have ever heard of or don't even know they exist. And by the way, we probably should have said this in the beginning, but the terms that we use, these indigos, crystallines, rainbows, all this, okay, these are, I want to say they're not set in stone. When we're in the soul form, back into spirit form, it's not like we have names and labels and classifications and, things like that put on us. But for the nature of what the majority of people here understand and know them as those terms, that's why we use them. So the next two, which we're basically going to call the diamond and the platinum children, it's just sort of going on that next progression of the, indigos, crystallines, the naming classification. But I don't want to get hung up on that. It's just for our, human minds to have an understanding and have a term.
We would ask that as you hear these things, whether it be the indigo, crystalline, rainbow, or the next ones we're going to mention to you, that you take it within your heart and take it within that place of your higher self.
Yeah.
And then you'll understand fully of the words that we're conveying to you and what these beings truly are.
Right. And so when we go to the next one, which is basically the diamonds. Now, why do we call them the diamonds? And the associative words that we are using, obviously, for your understanding. So the diamond, what is a diamond? The diamond is the most clear and the most resilient, the hardest to break. And that is very true of what these diamonds are.
They're multifaceted.
They're multifaceted. They're very clear. They bring such brilliance. It's like after all of the muck, from the indigos and the crystallines kind of, try to calm it down, and the rainbows are trying to take us to another place. And now the diamonds bring this incredible clarity to where, okay, we've kind of come to a different place. Now we've raised our vibration to a certain frequency to where we can receive more information and more clarity and more divinity.
Yep.
They have, the diamonds are so incredibly clear that they know very, very without a shadow of a doubt what energies are around them, spirit guides, angelics, beings, even dark beings. They know this, like they sense this, and they're very in touch with the realms around them, the realms of light. And so they're extremely sensitive to all of this. Now, sensitive, yes, but they are very difficult to break. So they can take a lot.
Yes.
They may look like, if they look physically, no matter what they physically look like, if they look like a waif or something, they are not that. They are very strong physically, and they also can use Mother Nature and other realms to heal themselves. So they heal very quickly as well. They don't really take as long to process things like we, do. They actually can process things very fast. Mm-hmm. They can see right through you, and that is another thing. Yep. They really can see to the heart of what's going on. So
no hiding from a diamond.
You cannot, nothing gets past them.
No.
So it's sort of like they can really just hone in and see right through what's going on to the heart of matter. Yep. So they're very powerful beings, and they are coming here. There are diamonds here right now. I have received that information. There are diamonds here now. They're not as in full capacity as the indigos or the crystalline or even the rainbows, but they are here.
You just reminded me of somebody. We have a dear friend named Leva. She lives in, was it Norway?
Leva's
right?
little baby is a
Yeah.
diamond. Yeah.
No, I think that one's a.
No, she's a
I
diamond.
think Leva is the diamond.
Well, her daughter's a diamond. She just had a baby.
Yeah.
And this amazing baby.
I think
is
they're two diamonds. Leva,
crazy.
they live like in Switzerland or is it Norway?
Norway.
And on this incredible farm away from society and everything. And the one thing, I didn't mean to interrupt, darling, just want to interject for a second. You'll find that diamonds, they usually are in obscure places that regular people wouldn't be. You'll find them away from society, away from cities. When they're born into the world, they are born in a pristine, whole environment that is free from any of the things that we've delved with into when we were growing up, like the city or smog or cars or just any of that. They're like Leva, her place is just, man, it's amazing. And she had a beautiful child, which I believe, same as her, is a diamond. And I just want to interject that.
Yeah, she's a beautiful, amazing, like, little child that you can look. I mean, just, she even has it's like in her eye, it's like a clear, like, crystal, almost like looking in her pupil, or it's very bizarre, but really cool. And she's just such a beautiful soul. And looking forward to seeing what, she was just born a couple years ago, or I don't know. We'll see what happens. But Leva has also noticed that she's this special child, and so she's going to be raised in an amazing environment. So yeah, the new children are really sort of demanding that in a way, where they're choosing that, not demanding it, but they are choosing that because they require it to live in that kind of environment, and they will go out and help as well on the planet. See, we're going through this progression because the next wave, which I just termed as the platinums, which some people may say that those children are here already. Personally, I've received information that they are here in soul form, but they are not inhabiting in great numbers. So they're not here yet in physical form. And why? Because we haven't gotten that level of frequency yet for them to completely come in. And because I'm just delving into these two in a little bit of a flow here because they sort of go together. But the platinum energy is obviously so high, and they are linked to the light body, which is really important. And we're getting glimpses of the light body, and we're getting more activations and ascension to the light body, and that's where we're going. But the platinums are very associated with the light body, and they're very associated with what I believe is the iridescent light, which is a whole, I want to say, new spectras of light that is coming in for our light bodies. And we have to be prepared for that kind of transition, because that is not an overnight transition. And because these platinums have that sort of such high vibration, they're really bringing the new human. Okay, some people have called it other things. I've seen it on the internet, but it's basically the new human. I believe when that starts coming in, we'll even start seeing, we'll even start seeing our skin, like their skin will be more translucent. It won't be more almost like a glow, sort of thing, because, and why that is because the frequency of light has gotten so much higher, and is influxing into our physical, structural, cellular bodies, that is changing our DNA, and it's changing our structure. Our whole makeup is shifting and changing. And so it's sort of like we can't do that. We can't squeeze into a little cocoon once we're out of the cocoon. You can't go back into it and go, no, let me back in there. You have to break out of that. And to break out of that, a whole new energy comes in. And so this is sort of the progression. Like I said, the souls that I've experienced that are here, but they're not fully here yet. And they are coming though, and they will be here at a time when our whole entire collective consciousness is ready for them. So right now they're doing due diligence. They're checking on the previous waves of what the indigos and the crystallines and the rainbows and the all these different beings, the diamonds, what energies have they already provided? What is consistent for them? What energies need to shift in order for them to come here and be in human form? So all of this is happening.
I can actually lend to that. From what I was told on my higher sources, the platinum they're going to be coming in that have not come into this world yet, they are going to be derived from, we have many different souls that have been around the universe for a very, very long time and have reincarnated over and over and over through not just here on Earth, but dimensionalities of the worlds, of the universes. But these particular ones, there's twofold things happening, okay? The first wave of the platinums, a lot of people, they know about the Ascended Masters and things like that, but what they don't know is the Ascended Masters you've heard of are the only ones that were written about through history. There have been many, many more that nobody even heard about that just kind of did their work in the silence, okay? So the first wave of the platinums are going to be the literally reincarnated Ascended Masters that are already here. Some of the very well-known ones. They're kind of the reason they're coming in first is because they're going to be the teachers of these ones coming in, because they're generally the only ones that could do that. But the ones that are coming in after that are completely new souls, born directly from the Creator, never been reincarnated, completely like they just came off the press, so to speak. That's the best way I can put it. And these new souls have been untouched by any universal system, any dimensional ways, peoples, planets, any of those things a lot of us have had through incarnations, various different incarnations. These particular ones are going to be absolutely pristine new souls, about as Christed as you could be. And that's what I was told.
So this whole progression, why we spent time on this in the first place was really to share with you the whole progression of what is going on and what's happening. So honestly, I feel that we're here, you guys are here because you're watching this. So we're all here right now as the forefathers and mothers of this whole process. And what we say a lot of times, we always say this, is that you've already ascended. A lot of you have already done that. If you're Starseed, you've lived on other planets have ascended, so you've probably done this before. And now we're kind of going through this process here on Earth, and we're part of the, wave overall, of this sort of cleanup crew, not just the Indigos, but all of us as the cleanup crew, to get ourselves and our vessels and our bodies and this DNA shifted so that we can handle more light, so that we can handle more love and be able to do that. So I feel that's why I said the platinums are the ones going to be taking people into that new iridescent spectra system. I'll be sharing this in soon, I hope, where all sorts of information about a whole new, what we call, it's not really called chakra system, they call it spectra system, but it's a whole new sort of chakra system, if you will, for the light body.
Yep.
Because that is the progression of what we are doing and where we're going. And so it's a whole new system. It doesn't negate the whole first chakra system at all. That's a basis that needed to be there as the foundation. And now we're going to the next level of learning of, and the light body is actually a whole new system in itself that goes and overlays on top of our existing chakra system. And so that's exciting.
It's kind of like, we have 5 senses that we know of, right? Just 5 senses that we've been told. 6th sense, obviously, ESP, right? Well, what you're not being told is all the other senses that are outside of that. You have the etheric, the oral, the aura, etheric, astral, and that's where those reside. Those are like completely different senses that haven't even been spoken about. You know they're there, you feel them, you experience them, and that's kind of what the spectral system is. It hasn't been something spoken about. It's this new energy that's coming in. It's the new.
And some of us have experienced already some of the initial stages of the new chakras. Some people are calling them still chakras. I'm just getting them from my source that they're not called chakras, but they are the energies of the beginning stages, because
Yep.
it's like you can't go from one, without kind of nurturing and growing. You can't grow a seed of a plant or anything without nurturing it, without watering it, without taking care of it, and without allowing that transformation to take place. And that's what's happening with us, is that we're getting new information and we're getting new frequencies, and so it's disrupting our physical bodies because we're not used to that kind of energy into us, especially when you start flooding yourself with light. It's can be a little bit hard on the body. We're not used to it, so we're progressing and transitioning into all of this. And we want to just say, through all of this process, that because everybody's going through it and everyone's having different experiences with their physical body, but some people are experiencing those new chakras or spectras, and they're feeling them and experiencing shifts in their physical form from them. It's just that the energies are here, but incarnate, the platinums haven't really taken full hold yet. But I believe it will. Now, who knows when? I mean, we're not here predicting like, oh, it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen, I don't know, 10 years from now or a millennia from now. It just really depends on how our progress is as that collective.
Yes.
It's going to depend on us. And I've got that information with the platinums. How that progression happens will be dependent upon how we progress, how we transition, how we assimilate with our DNA changes. It's all based on that, and that's a bit of a gamble.
Yep.
So the best way for us to transition is to stay in that positive, high vibration as much as possible.
Yes, indeed. So we thank you for the beautiful ones that are coming, and now for something completely different.
So yes, let's shift focus.
So we're really excited because a lot of you have asked us, hey, do you do sessions yourself, or is there any way I can hook up with you guys, to learn more from you? And yes, and yes. We do our little galactivations that we do, our activational co-creative therapy, little dynamic duo here. And to answer your question, yes.
Yeah, we actually provide a session. It's very intense. I want to say it's an intensive, and it's really an experience. So
2 hours.
We want to share a little bit about what that is to the best of our abilities, because it's obviously very unique and different for each individual.
Right, and knowing that, talking about it and experiencing it,
A whole
two
different
totally
thing.
different things.
Yeah, it's really, that's why I said it is really an experience. But between both of our individual gifts and talents that we do, we have individual sessions that we provide. But when we come together, we utilize so many different modalities. So we're using our psychic, intuitive, and channeling gifts, each individually. We're working with the angels with you, because I do a lot of that. We work with your energy and where it's at. We'll assess what's going on with you. We definitely assess your purpose, looking at your soul's purpose and why you're here. Any messages that need to be coming through will come through. We've had different spirit guides coming through. We've had, obviously we have angels there all the time throughout the whole session. We have spirit guides individually coming to bring messages. Sometimes it's loved ones crossed over. Sometimes it's spirit guides, that have been with you before. Sometimes it's new spirit guides, and they will share messages if they are needing to get something across to you. And we also do a scan of your entire physical, etheric, auric state. We look at everything. And we'll kind of do a scan and remove blockages and challenges and things that aren't supposed to be there or hindering you. So we'll look at all of that. What else do we do? There's so many things.
Well, it is. I know. It's like
laundry list of things. But
the whole mixture of stuff we do. But the most important thing that you need to know is what we do in our session is completely catered and individualized for you, because we ask permission and we tap into your guides, and your guides and our guides have a powwow, and they find the exact designer, if you will, healing modality, the exact path of what you need to know, the exact not only healing methods, but particular angels will come that were assigned to you, or spirit guides. I mean, there's so many different things that we do, and what's really unique about it is no two people are alike. Each one's completely separate from the other, because universal law states you can't go beyond another's free will without said given permission. So of course we do get that permission in order to jump into your life stream. Like one of the things I do is once I look in your eyes, I see past lives as easy as breathing. It just starts flying by. Now, why is that important? Because sometimes you have to know who you were to know who you are, or to know what you're going to be doing, or to learn the lesson of what not to do anymore. It may go to your childhood, it may go to past lives. That's what I love about doing what we do together, because it's always a new adventure. We never know what's going to happen, but it's always really incredible at the end of the line, and people are like, wow, I didn't expect that. So so there you have it.
We really have a lot of transformations that happen. People need to assimilate the data. I mean, 2 hours is a long time for us, and usually we're doing most of the talking, so it's a lot of information for people. We tend to have that happen really fast, and we also do clearings if need be, if we need to do something or any kind of healing at that moment. We really just like you said, assess the individual. We work holographically as well, and we work it's really hits all levels. So we look at your I look at your codes, I look at your the colors that come through, I look at the messages that they want to share. We try to address specific things that you want to know about as well.
Some numerology too.
I use numerology, but I actually just really tune in to what you're doing, and especially if you're Starseed, I'll really look at what you're doing on those other dimensions to see how that dovetails into your mission here, because they're usually related, and they're supposed to be related anyways. What you do there, you bring here. So
we've actually got a pretty cool thing going on right now, and I'm honored to show you something. I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag because it's too good. Okay, my beautiful Lightstar here finally has her own oracle deck. See that? Can you see it? Own oracle deck that she's created from all of her amazing artwork.
This is the box that he's showing you right now.
I'm just showing you the box.
It's actually a 2-part box, so we'll see. It actually goes like so. It's a 2-part telescoping box, and something I want to share with you. This is pretty cool. Who does this? The inside of the box has a very specific cleansing symbol. It's a code, and it's really powerful. And when you keep the oracle and activator cards in this box, it will keep your cards cleansed and fresh, so that you can keep them in a velvet bag if you'd like, but this actually does it for you if you'd like to keep it in the box. And it's a really unique hand-drawn encodement that I drew and created graphically. So
powerful
it's
symbol.
Really, really powerful.
When she's creating that, I just step out of the room because that whole room is full of guides, masters, all kinds of stuff.
They're really cool.
And here's the book that goes with it.
So yes, I just finished a 127-page guidebook that has it's too close, I think.
Yeah.
Well, it might not be. It might
It's
be out of
blurry.
focus.
Sorry.
It's the probably camera. But anyway, it's chock full of 44 cards, which is how much are in the deck. Interpretations for every single card, and there's also sample layouts in the guidebook as far as how to use the layouts for, oracle card readings as well as activators.
Yep.
They're activator cards as well as oracle readings, so you can use them for multi-purpose, multi-dimensional.
Look which one popped up first. That was me when I was Elvenized.
What the cards have on them is basically one word that's description, and then 3 words underneath that help you to do your interpretation. And all of these cards have all the realms: angelic, elemental, and galactic. So it's really unique, and you have to see the beautiful colors. This is all my artwork. And all of the messages on here. I have a whole website. You can go to lightstarcreations.com and check out more about it, and you can learn more about the cards and where to get them and all that. It's really super powerful. They have they will change you. They're not just your average oracle card deck. They are used. I have layouts. You can use them for activators. So many different ways to use these cards. It's amazing. There's just too many different ways to use them to even describe. And
the artwork is breathtaking.
In the card, you get a very special, speaking of chakras, you get a very special 7 cards in here that is based upon the chakra system, the 7 chakras, just the main ones, because most people are working with these right now. And so they're all cards. There's 7 of them in here. So it's just your, root chakra and your throat chakra and the crown and all of that. So you can use these cards basically by themselves, just as chakra healings. You can use them for so many different ways. On healing tables, for your clients. So very exciting. And so all this is just finished in a nice little package that you've received. And what we're doing right now with these cards is we're offering a special, our activational co-creative therapy session.
Wait for it.
The next 2 weeks, the first 5 people that sign up to get a session with us will receive one of these this whole package, 1 card deck for free. Yes, free. So jump on that. And if you're watching this video after the fact, if it's post 2 weeks, then you probably won't get that special, but we always have some kind of special going on, it seems like. So, but anyways, jump on that. We're really excited. So yeah, check that out. So if you watch this video and go onto the website, and you can actually go on to, you can go on to our Starseed Alliance International.com website, and you can go check out the sessions. Go to the sessions page, and then you can, book your session with us. And if you're the first 5, then you will also receive this for free.
I feel like freaking Vanna White.
I know. So that's the exciting part about our special that we're offering, and the cards and everything. But you can check that out. Again, the cards are on my website, which is lightstarcreations.com.
Yep.
The activational co-creative therapy session it can also be on my website. Randall Standswithbear has it on his website. But you can go to the Starseed Alliance, StarseedAllianceInternational.com, and click on the Sessions tab, and you can sign up, get a session from us that way.
Yep.
And so that's super exciting. Now,
the coolest thing, that's actually the coolest thing.
That is cool.
But another cool thing that we're doing is we actually have jewelry that we put up for sale that we've gotten from various different places.
Yeah, let me just do a little why we did this in the first place.
We've galacticized it.
We like jewelry, yes, obviously. And we like shiny, sparkly, magical things.
Sparkly.
So anything sparkly, we love it. And so we decided to get some really special, cool things because of that. So we wanted to share them with you because we didn't want to be selfish and just have them for ourselves. So, because we love this stuff, and we just got some really, really cool things that we just put up. A few of the items, a lot of them are one of a kind, and they're all energized. We have a specific technique that we're using. It's a high frequency energetics, basically. And so all of the jewelry that you receive will actually come pre-energized, pre-cleansed, so if you will. And like I said, if you go onto our website, which is, you can go on to StarseedAllianceInternational.com and click on the store. It will take you directly to that website. It's on Store Envy right now as the store, but you can get to it by going to the store link, and you can check out all the cool stuff. We have a lot of things that are on there that are like some movie jewelry, like film stuff. Like, for instance, this one I'm wearing right now is actually the symbol from the movie City of Bones. Mortal Instruments.
City of Bones.
And what this was I'll put it there. It was the healing rune. And then we've actually put some Swarovski crystals on it. It may be too small to see this one here, but blinged some things out.
Yep, totally blinged it out.
with some crystal work on there. So we have some movie jewelry. Here's another one that's
This
from
right here is
Fast and
actually a replica of the Tourette cross in Fast and the Furious. Can you see that?
Hold it still.
Okay, so
Like,
that's actually the cross, except she blinged it out, added a few more Swarovski crystals, which made it very uber cool. I get a lot of compliments on this all the time.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Like, here's another one that I did. I can't take it off, but this is just a symbol of the sun, beautiful star sun. And like I said, we've kind of, some of them we've embellished. We have a few things. We've got a beautiful dragonfly on there. And a lot of them are one of a kind. So when they're gone, they're gone.
Yes.
So it's kind of one of those things. And we'll be adding some things or whatnot. But right now, you go check it out and see what you think. And they're very reasonably priced.
Brilliant Star is the name of the store.
BrilliantStar.storenb.com is the actual link, but you can get there by just going to StarseedAllianceInternational.com and then clicking on the store link. It'll take you to the same place. And so check it out. Like I said, we got some really cool things on there. We're very excited about that. So I believe that is what we were sharing with you today. So we hope that you've learned some things and learned a little bit more about yourself. And mainly our main intentions with this is to give you inspiration and to keep going, to be your brilliant self, to be the brilliant star that you are on this earth star. And we want to give you all of the love and the support and, like I said, that inspiration for you to keep going to do your missions here on the planet. And thank you very much for doing them and stepping up to that.
And we apologize for such a lengthy video, but we're going to be off for a while, so we wanted to give a shout out to all of our SAI family and give you a little something to chew on until the next time, okay? And what I would like everybody to do, because there's a lot of crazy strife going on out there right now, okay? So I just want you to put your hands up like this to the screen, because I want this sent globally, all right? You feel the hands, you feel the energy coming through, because of energy cannot be bound, it cannot be destroyed, so it can go literally through the screen, all right? And I want you to think of that one person in your life that really needs that healing energy. One of the first people to come to me is our dear friend Joanna. You know, I want everyone to just send amazing energy to her. She is a little warrior goddess. Love her so much, and she's an inspiration to all of us. Okay, so Joanna, we want you to know that we love you. We are here in your corner, and right now it's going global, baby. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so I want you to think, Joanna. Just send that energy to Joanna. Then whoever it may be, whoever it may be that you feel needs that energy right now, needs that uplifting moment right now, needs that powerful healing energy from all of us. We graciously, humbly send that to you in the highest of light, love, the Creator, Mother, Father, God. So be it.
And as our last little send-off here, we want to also just send something out to you, to all of you. And I want to, in my hand, everybody hold out their hands. And I want everybody to now create a beautiful ball of light in their hand, just swirling around, just create it. Beautiful ball of light, allowing it to circulate and into your energy field, allowing that to get larger and larger, brighter and brighter, sending energy with love and light. And when you feel that beautiful ball of light is ready, I want you to send it out through the screen. We're sending this to you. You send it to whomever, but you can send it to us, or send it to whomever. But this is the ball of light, and we're going to have you be inspired by this ball of light. It's going to uplift you, and it's going to help you to keep going. And as you're ready, now put it out into the screen.
We love you all.
We love you guys.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us here at home. And we will see you soon.
Okay? Many blessings.
Namaste.
Namaste.